So now that we've got our database server up and running, we're going to install MySQL Workbench. Now we do already have client tools, MySQL Admin, the MySQL command line tool, and we can administer the server using those tools. However, this Workbench tool is an integrated environment for both modeling, SQL development, and administration. So it's a very powerful tool and it is absolutely free. So we're going to take advantage of it. If you're installing on Windows, there are some prerequisites and you'll have to make sure that you have these installed on your system prior to installing MySQL Workbench. We are not going to demonstrate the Windows installation because it's just click and install, and prior to doing the click and install of the Workbench, just make sure that you have the prerequisites installed on your system. We're going to install the Ubuntu Linux 12.04 version of MySQL Workbench. And I'm going to install the 32-bit version because, again, my Linux installation is a 32-bit installation. So we're going to download this. If you're not currently logged in, then you're going to need to log in, or if you haven't yet, you're going to need to create an account on the Oracle system to download this file. So the download is complete and it is a Debian package file, so we're going to run the installation. And I can tell you beforehand that this is going to fail because of dependency issues that have not been resolved on this system. However, I want you to see these messages so that when you experience it yourself, you won't be surprised. So these are the dependency issues that exist on my system that need to be resolved. Now, typically, there is another dependency that needs to be resolved, and that is the libc template 0 library file. Fortunately, I have already installed that, so we can download that from the Ubuntu site and install it as I did. It comes down from the Ubuntu site as a Debian package, and simply run the dpkg-i, giving this package name, and it will install that file for you. Now, once you do that, you will still get these dependency issues. So we need to resolve these other dependency issues, and the easiest way to do that, again, we're not trying to be Linux administrators, so we want the easy way to make this work. We're going to say apt-get -f install without any package name, and what this command will do is resolve all of these dependencies, installing the necessary libraries to bring our system current with the dependency needs for this installation. So as you can see, after my command runs, many dependencies were resolved, more than what I had listed from the installation of the MySQL Workbench. So this is a good thing. So now I'm going to rerun the installation of the MySQL Workbench package. So I have a successful installation of the MySQL Workbench tool, and we're going to launch it in the background. And there we go. So we have now installed and are ready to use the MySQL Workbench integrated environment for developing SQL, for designing databases, and for administering our server. Now, we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about those functions. What we want to look at in this demonstration is how to use the tool to build ER diagrams. So the first thing we need to do is connect to our server. And I'm just going to call this local root, because I'm going to log in as the root. It is the local host, so we can accept all of the defaults. We're going to test the connection. I'm going to put in the root password Everything's fine, so I'm going to connect now. I click on the connection and boom, I am in. We're not going to talk about security now, but we are going to talk about that in this course. For right now, I'm just going to create another account because I'm not comfortable using the root account. And I'm going to make this account a DBA. So boom, now I'm going to close this connection. I'm going to create a new connection, and this time I'm going to call it course local. Boom, test connection, and everything's fine. Now we will connect using a non-root user. This is important. Again, we'll talk about security in upcoming lectures, but for now, just accept that it's important not to be root. We're back in now as a different user, and we're just going to say File New Model, and we're going to add a diagram. This is our design surface. As a database designer, as an architect, as a DBA, when you need to create a database and the structure of a database, this is where you would do it. We grab a table, an entity, and we drop it on the design surface. We double click, we get the properties of that table that we can edit. In this case, I'm just going to add a couple properties because now we have our two tables. Let's add a relationship between the tables. There we go. So now just everything is drag and drop, click and drop, and we can design our entire database using a very functional visual tool. And we can take this design and go to the developers, go to the application architect, and discuss how the database is going to support the application and show the developers how they need to interface with the data stored in the database. If you haven't already done so, install the MySQL Database server and the client tools, then install the MySQL Workbench 6.0, in this case 8. These are the tools we're going to use for the remainder of the course.